Let's see 3 examples of speeding up or slowing down videos. This first example, I'm going to use a way to speed up a video. This clip here is just me sitting on an airplane, and I got my camera out the window, and if you let me just play it, you can see that these cute little clouds just humming by. Might look a little neater if this were sped up by 4, 8 times or even more. So how you do that is you just simply right click on the clip, go to time stretch, and change the speed. Now what the speed does is it gives the percentage of what it currently is. So if you play it, say 50%, it means it's going to be twice as fast, or half as fast, sorry. So I'm going to speed this up by, say, 800 times, and the clip gets shorter, but it's going to be going 8 times faster now. So let's go ahead and play it again, and you can see that this thing is really zipping by now. Of course, the sound here has been affected, which you may not like that. I personally don't think it sounds very good here. So we'll go back to our time stretch, and I will change the maintain audio pitch checkbox, and I'll just simply check it. And when we play it, it's going to try to change that pitch to keep it exactly what it was. And it just takes a second for it to figure all that out, and when it gets grinding away, you'll hear that it will change that pitch. I'm going to pause the video here and let it do its thing, and I'll start it up just a second. Maybe not. Now let me turn the volume up here. And if you can hear that through the speakers and whatnot, it's got a very strange effect on it. It's got sort of I don't even want to call it an echoing effect, but a lot of distortion. There's this change pitch thing just doesn't really always work that great. But that's an idea on how you can speed something up and get it to run much faster. Now, let's just say, for example, you wanted to keep the original sound, but you wanted to speed it up. What you could do is go back to our, where is it? Time stretch. Uncheck this little box down here, and again, it's going to be that super fast speed, but a higher pitch. But what we can do here is let's go ahead and unlink the audio and the video. Let's go to the audio track, go to time stretch, and change it back to 100%. Now, not 1,000, 100%. Now you're going to see the audio track get a whole lot longer here, which we'd expect to see that because it's going back to its normal state. But what I am doing is I am using the original sound that's not been sped up with the video that has been sped up. Sounds a little bit more realistic, at least in my opinion it does. You don't notice the sound because it's at the normal speed, but the video is faster, so it just has a very natural feel to it. This next example, I'll show how you can slow video tracks down while preserving audio. This is just a rock video that I shot not too long ago, and the guy's doing an amazing riff here, and he goes back into his verse. And what it might be cool is to have a slow motion while he's jamming away, and then when he's done jamming, go right back into the video at normal speed. So sometime around here, let's clip the video to slow, and then when we get back to around here, let's clip the video and go back to normal speed. So what we're going to do here is we're going to detach the audio or unlink the audio in the video, and that allows me to independently edit the video from the audio. Now, you might think that's kind of crazy because you always want the audio to line up with the video, and that's exactly true here. However, when we zoom things out a little bit, even though I've unlinked the two, I still can go by the end timestamp here to get the track synced back up if I need to. Also, I'm going to actually throw away the live audio here and put in the actual track from the CD. But at any rate, you can always use the sort of the timeline slider here to figure out exactly where you are and line your tracks up that way. Now that they're separated, let's go ahead and clip the video right about here. Select it and then clip it, and then when he gets back into the part where he sings, let's clip it there. Now it might be hard to kind of see where he starts to sing even though his mouth is open. You can kind of hear it. If you expand your audio track and you grab this little slider here on the far left and really make it big, you can actually see the waveforms in here. Now we can see exactly where he's singing by that little peak in that audio waveform. So right about here, let's just kind of eyeball it, make sure the video track is selected, then we'll clip that once again. I'm done. Let's move this thing down a little bit. Now we'll take him and we'll drag him up, and we will change the duration of this thing by right-clicking and adjusting the time stretch to, I don't know, maybe 50%. Anything slower might be a little bit weird. Now notice how it pushes this track out, which I hate. Adobe, please fix that for me. We'll just simply slide this back in. Now here's where you know, you got to be very careful to get it aligned right together. Otherwise, you know, when he's snare drums are hitting or the bass guy is bumping his head around, it all matches. So you just have to be very careful when you're moving things around that have to be aligned, the audio and the video, when you've unlinked the two. All right, so let's go ahead and play this thing just to give you an idea what it looks like. Now, that's where it gets a little weird, is he's still jamming in slow motion and he's singing here. So that's where it's a little weird when you do this kind of this stretched timeline, or this when you change the duration here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand the video 2, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the very top of that keyframe. So let me just go ahead and page up to get to the very beginning of that clip. Let's select this video 2 track and this little keyframe. We'll add a clip, or a keyframe I should say, and we'll go to the end of it by hitting page down, add another keyframe, and I'm going to just drag him down. And that's going to change the opacity to let it fade off into nothing. Now that was probably way too slow, so right around in here, actually let's drag this over a bit, and then page up, and let's add another keyframe. Sorry, add another keyframe. I hit the wrong button, hit the little arrow here to go to the next and the previous keyframes. Now we'll drag him down much quicker, so it's going to have a very quick fade, and then it's gradually going to drop off. Now, if you want to control this, right now it's a linear, means it goes from sort of a flat opacity, then it goes right down to nothing immediately. You can change that to a Bezier, or you know, change it to a nice little curved type of a pattern. So what that would look like is, let me just change it to a Bezier, and let's make him big so you can see it. And then you get this little handle here, and you can kind of drag this around to get a very weird kind of a drop off here, more of a kind of a curve-shaped effect. I have no idea what this is going to look like, but that's kind of the beauty here, is we can play around with it and undo if we don't like it. All right, so let's play this. You get the idea. That's probably too quick of a drop-off, but we can play games with this all day long until we get just the right effect that we want. And so right when he starts singing, he starts to kind of fade back in. So it's kind of a neat effect here. Anyway, that's how you can use the time stretch to make a clip play longer, meaning that it's going to slow down, but use some kind of a transition to. In this last example, let's show another example of slow-mo, but with just a slightly different transition. So this video clip here I got came from Project Cars, courtesy of my buddy Dave Walker, who is an avid car driver, and just shows him running around the track here and getting into a rather death-defying accident. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to slow that clip down right at the accident, and just have some kind of a neat transition to show some interest in the whole accident itself. I'm not saying accidents are interesting, by the way. So right around here, let's start the slow-mo. So you know the game. I'm going to right-click and detach or unlink the audio and the video. Select the video, put a little cut in there, and let's go to the end of the crash. Somewhere around here, close enough, we'll put in another cut, and that gives us an independent track that we can change the duration on. So you know the game. Let's go to time stretch and change it to, say, I don't know, 30%, something good. And Adobe, please fix this. I will buy a new version if you fix that for me. I will pay you extra money for it. Alright, so notice how the clip is in really slow motion now, and we can see, or we can hear the video from clip 1, or I should say video track 1 playing behind it. So it's kind of an interesting effect, but maybe we want this transition to happen a little bit differently. Now, I showed you a little while ago many things that you can do. You can always drag the end of the timeline up to have the clip just sort of cut away. And that's kind of too much of a wake-up call for me. The other one that we can do, we can always go in here to the opacity and just change the opacity to allow it to sort of gradually go into to nothing. That's actually one of my favorites. Just kind of a neat way of gradually going from one video to the next. Or we can actually pan the video away. So let's just go ahead and do that. So let's select clip number 2, this little video up here. Go to the Applied Effects. Go to the let's get rid of Project Assets. Go to the Motion, and on what you're probably going to see most likely is it in this state, the Applied Effects in this state, where you have the scale, the position, the rotation, everything else. If you expand this Show Hide Keyframe, this shows the selected clip at just a mini time frame of that clip, so you can adjust things, these values at a point in time. So for example, I might want the opacity to be, or the scale, or the rotation, or whatever to be a certain value, but change over time. So an example of that might be to go to this point in time. Let's mark the position here by hitting this little toggle animation. It remembers the 640, 360, and then somewhere around here, let's just change that that sort of X position to, I don't know, 2000. Pick a number, any number. And what you're going to see is the video at that point in time start to pan away to go to something different. Now, I'm not sure I really like how that's happening here. A bit weird there. So we can get rid of this. We can do wrong one. Let me edit undo a couple times here to get back to where I was. I did something wrong. Sometime around here, let's remember that position. And then over here, let's change him to, I don't know, a couple thousand, 2,800, whatever. So what's going to happen is going to kind of wipe real fast to the right. All right, one way to do it. Another way you might want to try is to expand my motion. Don't know what happened there. Maybe you want to add a little bit of zoom to it. Maybe you want to add a little bit of various other things. So let's just go back to that keyframe. Just use this next keyframe to get on the exact spot. Remember the scale by toggling the animation to 100%. Let's go to maybe this next keyframe and make it much, much larger, somewhere around there, 200%, and you're going to see it sort of get closer to you, like the accent's coming towards you as it's panning away. That's another way of looking at it. Something else you might want to do, just let's have all kinds of weird fun here. Let's just go ahead and add rotation to this thing. So we'll change the rotation angle at this point in time. That might be too much. Rotation angle to, I don't know, just pick a number. This is going to be kind of weird here. But let's just see what happens. You can have all kinds of fun with these keyframes here to get kind of a weird transition to show how that happens. So that's the last example here. We looked at how to speed things up, how to slow things down, and how to control the overlay or the transition between your slowed down video and the original video. Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.